Shri Alangovan.
Thank you, sir. Sir, this has become a ritual that during every season we discuss about price rise and inflation. Just to confirm that during the intersession period there was a rise in prices. But none of the suggestions given here were considered by the government or the other parties involved. Even during the last discussion, on behalf of the DMK, we had said that instead of the targeted public distribution system, the government can adopt the universal public distribution system which is in vogue in Tamil Nadu, where people get food grains at a reasonable rate. Even the government of India is supplying rice to the states at a fixed rate, at a particular rate for the APL families, a particular rate for the BPL families, and at a particular rate for the AOI families. So this system can be adopted in the states, where a universal PDS system will definitely control the prices. Secondly, in Tamil Nadu, during the DMK's rule, when Dr. Kalangir M. Karunanidhi was the chief minister, we had introduced a farmer's market where a farmer can directly sell his products in a particular place which is controlled by the government agency, so that there is no role of a middleman. Sir, one thing we must understand, who is responsible for this increase in prices? Is it the producer? No, sir. Is it the consumer? No. Is it the government? I can say in a way, no. It is the middlemen who are the reason for increase in prices. Maybe the government is responsible in a way that they are not controlling these middlemen. They are allowing them to play a big role, like they are allowing the commodity trading, futures trading, etc., by which the middlemen play a bigger role in the increase of commodity prices. Sir, the question of demand and supply, it is a theory, it is still a theory now. It has no role to play in today's lives. Supply is there. Our Honorable Yashwant Singh Haji also said that there is enough supply, but the prices have gone up. You can go to every grocery, you can find food grains available, but at a higher cost. There is no hoarding. Particularly, at least in Tamil Nadu, I can say that there is no hoarding. Everything is available in the market, but at a higher price. Why? It is because middlemen play a big role, and most of the profit is taken away not by the producer but by the middleman. So this should be checked. The government should take a firm step in controlling the middleman. We had also suggested suitable amendments to the Essential Commodities Act, which I don't know how far the government is considering that. Sir, the second thing is export of food grains. Sir, we import oil, and the oil countries are controlling the price of oil. They give oil at a higher price to us, whereas food grains are supplied by our country to those countries who produce oil. Gulf countries get food grains from our country. We give concessions. We give concessions to the exporters. We give incentives to the exporters of food grains to these countries. Why should we give incentives to exporters of food grains when we could not purchase oil at a cheaper rate from these countries? So we should stop incentives, particularly to those who are exporting food grains to other countries, sir. The growth in our country, sir, is lopsided. A major population has economically well off, whereas the other people are not. The affordability of this section of the people also is the reason for the increase in food prices, whereas that increase, the people who could not afford cannot get food grains at a cheaper rate. So the government's role here now is to control the supply of food grains through a universal public distribution system and stop the menace of the middlemen, sir. With these words, I thank you.
Shri T.K.S. Lagavan.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. Sir, on behalf of the DMK, I wish to state that the Parliament is a supreme lawmaking body. Everybody has accepted that. Any legislation of this country should be passed only in this House. And this House has the capacity to create laws. Sir, the civil society's issues are very less. They wanted a Lokpal, the government had agreed for a Lokpal. There are only 5 contentious issues which the government has not accepted. One among those issues is to include the Prime Minister, office of the Prime Minister within the purview of the bill. There are other 4 issues which we have not discussed about. Sir, in fact, the DMK party, which when we were in power, had introduced a Lok Ayukta bill where we had included the Chief Minister within the purview of the Lok Ayukta bill. Likewise, we had also requested the government to include the Prime Minister's office also within the scope of the Lokpal bill. So that is, there are different views. Some parties do accept that Prime Minister should come, some parties do not accept. But there are other contentious issues. One issue I want to explain. That is, for a similar crime, 2 people will be punished with 2 different punishments, will be given with 2 different punishments. For example, if a peon gets the bribe of 50 rupees, he will be punished for 3 months. If an IAS officer gets a bribe of 50 rupees, he must be punished for 1 year. Likewise, the civil society wants different punishments to different people for a similar crime. Can we accept that? Is it not against the provisions of the Constitution? Is it not against the provisions of the criminal laws of this land? So, it is for this Parliament to go into the provisions of the Lokpal bill and decide on it. Sir, we have accountability. We have to go to the people. Every 5 years we have to face the people. We have to get elected. We have to tell the people as to what we have done in this House. But the civil group does not have an accountability. They are not going to the people. But we have to go to the people. We are responsible to the people of this land. The people have to elect us once again. So, we should not lose our responsibility. We should not forego our responsibility to a group which is outside this House. There is ample scope even for the opposition parties to speak when the bill comes for discussion. The standing committee, the bill is now referred to the standing committee. Outsiders, the civil society can go to the standing committee and express their views. So they are also not shunted out. They are also not kept away from this.
Please, please. Order, order.
So I only request that
Take your seats.
Parliament should not lose its right. Parliament should not give away its right of making legislation. This is a sort of a pressure on the Parliament. This sort of, I can say, a blackmailing, threatening the Parliament, which means that the members of Parliament have failed in their duty. This is not proper, sir. But at the same time, I only request that any peaceful agitation should be allowed. What had happened in Tamil Nadu when we were agitating against the government, we were not given permission. So the state government should be instructed that to permit any peaceful agitation. That way, this government also should impress upon the Delhi government to allow for a peaceful agitation, but at the same time to uphold the constitution by not allowing outside groups to put pressure on this parliament, sir. With these words, I conclude. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sri.
Thank you. Sri T.K.S. Elan Govan.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir, for having given me the opportunity to speak on this subject. Sir, at the outset, on behalf of the DMK, my first request to Sri Hana Hazare is to stop fast, and he should protect himself with good health so that there may be issues in the future where he has to involve himself and fight for the downtrodden, for the people who need somebody to lead them. So my first request to Anna Hazare ji is to end his fast. Sir, time and again there were agitations in parts of this country which the government had responded. I can quote one agitation which was held in Tamil Nadu, which was led by Tandai Periyar, Ariyan Anna and the late leader Kamaraj. They fought for the inclusion of reservation provisions in the constitution for the sake of the downtrodden people. That was well received by the government of India, and the first amendment to the constitution was passed in the same house. I can even quote another incident where, with only 2 members of the DMK elected to this house in the year 1957, the DMK wanted that Hindi should not be imposed on the non-Hindi speaking states. Here, Honorable Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru gave an assurance that Hindi will not be imposed on non-Hindi speaking states until they wish to have Hindi as their official language. So even small requests, if reasonable, have been accepted by the government. Now, Anna Hazare's demand was accepted by this government. On April 11th, when he was on fast, the government readily met him, spoke to him, sat with him, and prepared a bill, Lokpal bill, which is now introduced in this house and was sent to the select committee. Now the question is, there are 3 more issues which the Anna Hazare civil society is demanding. Sir, this issue, our Honorable Sharad Yadavji was speaking about the media. Sir, this issue, now early it started as a fight against corruption. Then the media turned it as a fight against the ruling party. Thirdly, the media converted it as a fight against the parliament. Now it has become a fight against the Constitution of India. This is the work of the media. Parliament has certain powers. It has its own supremacy. It has its own inherent powers. We are here to enact laws in this country. There may be demands, but it is for the Parliament to decide whether these demands are right or just. Because after 2.5 years from now on, the members of this house has to go to the people, seek their votes, tell them what we have done, tell them what we have, how we have acted, tell them what steps we have taken to against corruption. All these things we have to go to the people. It is a responsibility not only of the ruling party, it is also of the opposition parties. The people will judge us. Then it is left to the civil society to go to the people and say, see, this government has not acted against corruption. See, the government is for corruption. You need not vote for them. That is democracy. In a democracy, people are the judges, not the media. People are the judges, not only media. So it should be that this government is willing to introduce, legislate this bill, Lokpal bill. There are certain differences, a few differences. Here I can say that from the statement of the Honorable Leader of the House, 3 substantive issues, as the Honorable Leader of the House has pointed out: public grievances and citizens charter, Lok Ayukta, and lower bureaucracy. Firstly, I will take this Lok Ayukta. Me, belonging to the DMK, is fighting for the state autonomy. So I don't want this House to do anything against the autonomy of the states. We should not force anything into the states. RTI Act is different. That is the right, constitutional right. But this is not a constitutional right. This is for the states to decide whether to have a Lok Ayukta or not. Because there are many laws, many institutions to see that, to punish people against corruption, punish people against any criminal activity. We have seen, our Sharad Yadavji was telling us to how this same house has acted against corruption, how people were arrested and put on jail. So, Lok Ayukta is to be left to the states for them to decide. Lower bureaucracy, sir, there is a system. There are people, bureaucracy is of stages. Officers over them, there are officers, there are secretaries, joint secretaries, section officers. So these people should be made to act against any wrongdoings. If the power is taken by the Lokpal, whether with lakhs and lakhs of government employees in this country, whether it will become another our court of judicature, where cases are lagging, a lot of cases are pending before them without being disposed of, and people are suffering for want of justice. So we should not burden the Lokpal with including the lower bureaucracy in it. But the Lokpal can have the powers to instruct the officers, instruct the higher bureaucrats to look into the issues, can give directions and see that criminals are punished, corrupt people are punished. Public grievances and citizens charter, the Honorable Leader of the House had stated that, asked the question whether the Lokpal should have the power to punish all those who violate the grievance redressal mechanism to be put in place. Sir, the Lokpal shall have power to punish, but before that they should investigate into the issue and see as to what is the reason for not doing it, the public grievance redressal mechanism, why it has failed, why it was violated. So before punishing the officer, proper inquiry should be made into the issue. There is a fourth one, sir. I think it is in the letter written by Mr. Kejriwal. It says, if the government can agree to introduce Jan Lokpal, after removing those items on which we have differences, after cleaning by the law ministry, after clearing by the law ministry within 4 days, and clearing, but it is printed as cleaning, sorry. Clearing by the law ministry within 4 days, and also provide a commitment that the bill will not be referred to the standing committee. I don't understand the meaning of the word, because civil society members cannot come to this house and speak on the subject, whereas they can go before the standing committee and present their views. General public can go before the standing committee and present their views. All interested
Please. Record नहीं जाएगा उसका. Record नहीं जाएगा. Please sit down.
This is a very good opportunity for the civil society, for all interested parties, like for Aruna Roy, everybody, they can go before the standing committee and explain their position, and the standing committee can also adopt as much as possible of the provisions. So this is wrong. This is not a proper stand. Maybe Anna Hazare is not properly advised in this matter. Sir, so sending the bill to the standing committee will definitely do good to the bill. So So, we are not against demeaning the powers of parliament in any way. This is the bigger institution, higher institution. Today this party is here. Tomorrow the other party can come to power. So, but this institution should not be belittled, which the DMK will not allow. There are certain issues which the DMK had already raised, that the office of the Prime Minister should also be included within the purview of the Lokpal. We are for including all the political offices, whatever it may be, all the political offices within the purview of the Lokpal bill. So, with these words, I thank you for this opportunity, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
T.K.S.
On behalf of the DMK, I associate with the honorable other leaders of various parties in conveying my sympathies to those who have affected who are affected in this bomb blast. I think this should be condemned in toto, and I request the honorable Home Minister to look into it and take action in this regard. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman sir. Please permit me to speak from this place.
Okay.
Chairman sir, on behalf of the DMK, I condemn the incident yesterday happened against one of the very senior leaders of Indian politics. Sir, there are established democratic systems through which anybody can raise their opposition against the government or against a minister. I fully agree with our Honorable Sharad Yadav ji that the role of media is very important in such things. Sir, I only request the media not to project these pseudo-heroism, so that this will crop up everywhere in other parts of the country. So it is the role of the media to see that such pseudo-heroism, such anti-national activities, such anti-establishment activities should not be encouraged by the media. With these words, I condemn the incident which had taken yesterday, sir. Thank you.
T.K.S. Elangovan.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, sir, for giving me an opportunity to speak on this subject. Sir, various aspects of inflation was discussed in this House so far. Opposition parties charging the government, accusing the government, and ruling party defending it. And there are good suggestions. There are suggestions which will definitely help. Sir, for the third time I am speaking on this subject. And every time we make some suggestions, but I don't know how far the government has taken up this suggestion. Sir, when in the past we were happy when many world countries crumpled due to economic recession, India could survive the onslaught. This means that our economy can be interdependent as well as independent. So we have to have some independent ways to save our economy. Sir, a recent report by the UN committee is very alarming. I wish to read out some portions of the report of the United Nations ESCAP, Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific. Sir, the report says India is among the most affected countries on account of rising food prices. According to it, this prevented more than 19 million people in the region, a good chunk of them Indian, from pulling themselves out of poverty last year. That should sound a warning call to the government, which is battling rising food prices somewhat lackadaisically thus far. Another part of this report says, along with select Asian countries, may have to contend with an additional number of people between 10 million and 42 million being affected by high food prices over next year. At least 10 to 42 million people will be affected by the increasing, escalating food prices over the next year. It further says, this could mean that policy makers will have urgently review and hasten efficiency improvement and expansion of the scope and implementation of key national scale social welfare and poverty alleviation programs such as the PDS, food law implementation and the NREGA. Sir, another study by one Surabhi Mittal, an agricultural economist, says that for India to be ranked with some of the poorest nations, on impact on inflation and high food prices and postponement of Millennium Development Goal poverty alleviation deadlines is a grave development. Soaring food prices and inflation have brought down the real income of people below the poverty line and may have neutralized the positive impact of targeted programs such as the NREGA. The impact of NREGA we will lose the impact. We will lose the impact of NREGA because of the rising food prices. That is what the report says. Bad weather in key food producing countries, increasing use of crops as biofuels and speculation in commodity markets, which we have been cautioning time and again that speculative market is going to do harm to the people of India. Speculation in commodity markets have added to a long-term decline in agricultural investment and affected food supplies, according to the study. Further, it warns, it is important to note that in individual countries such as local conditions such as poor logistics can make such problems more acute. This is the report, sir. This report is alarming. So the government should take to consider as to how to overcome these problems. Sir, the Honorable Finance Minister had made a statement, a statement on inflation. He had made certain suggestions. One particular point is that there is an urgent need to amend and enforce the Agricultural Produce Marketing Act to enable farmers to bring their products to retail outlets and also allow retailers to directly purchase from the farmers. Sir, this was a scheme which was implemented in Tamil Nadu when the DMK under the leadership of our leader Dr. Kalainger M. Karunanidhi was in power in the year 1996. We had farmers markets. Farmers can directly come to the market, sell their produce to the retailers so that they will get, there is no middleman. Without a middleman, they can sell their produce. We had formed, during our government, the DMK government rule, we had formed more than 100 such markets, which was a very successful scheme. Unfortunately, it is not enforced now because of change of guard in the state. Throughout the state. Throughout the state. Likewise, a durable solution to inflation is improving agricultural productivity, strengthening food supply chains. Sir, the importance of strengthening of supply chains. Sir, in the early 60s, the cooperative movement were instrumental in playing an effective role to strengthen supply chains. Now, the role of cooperative movement societies have diminished, and no more, even if there are cooperatives, they are not functioning effectively. So the government should think of having such cooperative societies to strengthen the supply chain. Further, as was earlier demanded by our honorable friend from the TMC, that cold storage of perishable food products should be available in all important places of the country. So the government should immediately come up with making cold storage units everywhere throughout the country to protect at least 40% of the food, perishable food items are are perishing because of want of cold storage. The government should come out with a scheme to build cold storage at various points of the state. With these words,
Sum up, please.
I conclude, sir. Thank you.
Sri T.K.S. Yalangovan. 5 minutes for your part, please.
Chairman, sir, while supporting the supplementary demands for grants for railways, I have to make a few requests to the Honorable Railway Minister. So my first request would be that the Railway Minister should convene a pre-budget meeting of all the MPs, irrespective of the states. They should conduct a pre-budget meeting in every state, calling all the MPs, so that some fruitful suggestions will be received from the MP's side and you can fulfill the demands. Sir, secondly, I don't want to ask for new projects because I'm afraid that if any new project is asked, I don't know what will happen to the old projects. There are projects pending for more than 15 years, particularly in Tamil Nadu. The Salem-Karur railway project was started in the year 1996-7, but it is still pending. Projects are pending for more than 15 years. I don't know how the railways allow this, and I don't know, the amount so far invested is a debt investment without any returns. That is also an added factor for the loss to the railways. So the railways should fix a period, at least not more than 5 years, to complete any project which has started. Secondly, sir, we have main problem in Tamil Nadu is the doubling between Chennai, Kanyakumari, that is between Viluppuram and Dindigul and Madurai and Kanyakumari, which is also a long pending project. Sir, Southern Railway, particularly Tamil Nadu, is economically viable in terms of passenger traffic. Passenger traffic is full in all trains. More number of trains, more income to the railways. So you please consider to complete the doubling between Viluppuram, Dindigul and Madurai, Kanyakumari, sir, at the earliest. Sir, as per my constituency, the oldest railway passenger terminal in Chennai, North Chennai, is Rayapuram, sir. Now, Rayapuram station, which is in the heart of the city, is being converted as a loco shed. But that is one of the biggest railway stations in the city. And when there are 5 terminals in Delhi, Chennai can have 4 passenger terminals. So Rayapuram should be included as a passenger terminal, which will help the passengers. Locomotives can be parked anywhere, sir, not in the heart of the city. Please have it in mind. Next thing is, due to the increased cost of bus fare in Tamil Nadu, the suburban trains in Chennai, the frequency of these trains should be increased. More coaches should be added to the suburban trains. Otherwise, passengers are suffering. They are dangerously traveling in these trains. So, you please add more coaches to the suburban trains. Sir, Salem division was started 4 or 5 years back, but they don't have a good office. You please, at the earliest, please construct a full-fledged office for the Salem Railway Division. One request, sir, that Bangalore-Kanyakumari train is now running on a weekly basis. It should be, the frequency should be increased and the train should run on a daily basis. There are many demands, but my first priority will be to see that the uncompleted projects should be completed at the earliest. With these words, I support the demands. Thank you.
Shri Ilangovan.
Madam, we congratulate the people of Goa on this great occasion. Madam, we have an association, the DMK party's founder leader, Dr. C.N. Annadurai, who was affectionately called as Anna. When he had been to US, on the way he visited Vatican and met the Pope just to release Mr. Ranade who was languishing in the Portuguese prison even after 3 years of independence. So after his meeting with the Pope's intervention made the release of Mr. Ranade. So our association, the DMK's association with Goa is also there. We must honor the leaders like Ram Manohar Lohia, who had conducted a march for the release of Goa, and I congratulate the people of Goa, and at the same time we also pay our respects to those leaders who had fought for the freedom of Goa. Thank you.
Shri Anand.
Shri Elangovan.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. Sir, after the demands made by various political parties this morning, I welcome the government's stand that minorities will also be given a reservation in the composition of the Lokpal. At the same time, sir, the Constitution Amendment Bill is coming. That bill includes Lokayukta in its provision, which means that Lokayukta becomes mandatory for the state governments to have. But the rules and the composition, as to the composition of the Lokayukta and rules should be left to the respective state governments to decide, because we are not supporting the government of India into trespassing into the powers of the state government, and it may affect the federal structure of the constitution. And with this, I welcome the bill.
The question is, Shri Elangovan, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Bill. On the other day also, I had made the views of my party in this regard about the Lok Ayukta.
Speak slowly, firmly.
Sir, the Constitution 116th Amendment Bill is also presented in this House for passing.
Honourable members, please maintain silence.
Section 323D(1) is sufficient, and it will make the state, it will mandate the states to have their own act for a Lokayukta. If we pass an act for Lokayukta, then we are trespassing into the powers of the state. As a member of the DMK, we are opposed to any trespassing into the powers of the state. I want to point to the government. This 323D itself is enough for the states to make law for the Lokpal. Sir, there is a saying, if anybody has committed a sin, if he take a dip in Ganga, he will lose his sin. But last week, this House witnessed a debate on the pollution in Ganga itself. So, people say that we have no faith in this government. We want an ombudsman. We have no faith in the politicians. We have no faith in the CBI. We have no faith in the established organizations which take care of such things. But a day will come, like as we were discussing.
Honourable members, please maintain silence. Please continue.
A day will come, as we were discussing about the pollution in Ganga, we have to rethink about the Lokpal. So this is a continuous thing. People accusing everybody. If that does not suit them, they will start accusing. If they suit them, they will start supporting. So forget about it, but we have come to the stage that the bill is introduced. I have only two reservations to make, sir. One is the section 52 of the bill. Section 53 of the bill. It says that the Lokpal shall not inquire or investigate into any complaint if the complaint is made after the expiry of the period of 7 years from the date of which the offence mentioned in such complaint is alleged to have been committed. This gives a retrospective effect to the Lokpal, sir. Sir, what were the other agencies doing? 7 years. The Prevention of Corruption Act is there in force. But it only says that for the past 7 years, no action was taken on crimes committed during this period, which is not good. So my request is that it should not appear as if that the government has not acted for the past 7 years. This retrospective effect should be removed. This act should be a prospective act and not a retrospective act. Secondly, sir, while I object to the lawmaking in regard to Lokayukta, one particular section I want to make a comment, that is section 95. The section says, the Lokayukta shall function as the final appellate authority in respect of appeals arising out of any other law. It cannot be a final appellate authority when there is a Supreme Court. So how can it be a final appellate authority? Which means the accused, the aggrieved has no other way to go to prove his innocence. So there should be an avenue for him to go on appeal against the Lokpal or Lokayukta, whatever it is. That provision should be made. This curtails that provision, that opportunity for any accused to go before a higher appellate authority to seek relief. With these 2 points, I once again request that you please leave the lawmaking for Lokayukta to the states and preserve the rights of the states. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Acharya.
Shri T.K.S. Elangoman.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, for permitting me to speak on the motion of thanks to Her Excellency President's address moved by Dr. Girija Vyas. Sir, the address mentions about the achievements and the commitments on the part of the government for this year. There are many achievements which we are with them in supporting them, in working with them for such achievements. And there are many commitments made by this government which we have a duty to support the government. But there are certain issues which the President's address, President has not addressed. Sir, the 5-point program of the President talks about to strive for livelihood security for the vast majority of our population and continue to work for removal of poverty, hunger and literacy from our land. This livelihood security, sir, now on 29th February this year, there was a All India strike called by the various labor unions. I don't know whether the government had held a discussion with them after the strike. The major demands of the union are no contractorization of work, permanent or perennial nature, amendment of Minimum Wages Act, assured pension for all and compulsory registration of trade union, among others. These are genuine demands, but I don't know whether the government is addressing these demands or calling for the trade unions and to hold discussions with them and to settle this issue. There is another major issue, sir, with respect to the Employees Pension Scheme 1995. Sir, the employees who are receiving pension under this scheme are drawing a pension of rupees 500. This government has increased the old age pension to an amount of rupees 1,000, whereas under the EPS 1995, the employees are drawing only a minimum pension of rupees 500. Their demand is that that pension should be increased to rupees 3,000. On a comparison, sir, I can quote, in defense there are 23 lakh pensioners. The total amount of pension disbursed is rupees 34,000 crores. Whereas these people, these employees, pensioners receiving pension under EPS 1995, about 35 lakh 25,000 pensioners, the amount disbursed is only 3,839 crores, sir. On a comparison, we will see that this is not an amount which will help in their subsistence. Even an old age pensioner drawing 1,000 rupees and a pensioner under EPS scheme, 1995 scheme, is drawing only 500 rupees is not good, sir. So this government should come forward to increase the minimum pension for these pensioners to rupees 3,000 so that it will help them. In fact, when Honorable Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister, he had given an assurance that a comprehensive review of this scheme will be taken up once in 10 years. But so far, there was no review of this scheme, and whatever increase, annual increase which they were receiving during the years 96, 98 and 99 has stopped. There is no increase since 1999 to these people. This is one major issue which the government should take up and resolve. Secondly, sir, I congratulate Her Excellency for announcing a Department for Disability Affairs. Sir, in Tamil Nadu, our former Chief Minister had formed a department for physically handicapped people, but the department was called as not as physically handicapped. It is called as differently abled. Sorry. They were called as differently abled. So I request the government, if such department is formed in the Government of India, it should be called as Department for Differently Abled and not as Disability Affairs. That is my request, sir. Third, food inflation. We have boasted of increasing the food production, sir, but the distribution has failed. Many of these parties in this house have been demanding for a universal PDS system which will solve the problem of food inflation, which will help in solving the problem of food inflation. But there is no mention about a universal PDS in this address, sir. I want the government to include that universal PDS should be implemented immediately so that distribution of food articles will be uniform and will help the poor. Fourth, sir, power shortage. Power crisis is a major crisis, and Tamil Nadu is reeling under crisis. Half of Tamil Nadu is getting power only for 4 hours a day. 20 hours we are without power. The Kudangulam project is yet to start. I don't know whether the agitators are in coalition with the state government or not. We don't know. But the state government is not taking action against the agitators. That is a different issue. But the state government, the Government of India, is not dealing very severely against the agitators. Mr. Narayanasamy is here. He is the spokesperson for the Kudangulam project. Whenever he comes, he says something. It has become a word of war between the agitators and the Government of India. The Government of India should take stern steps, firm steps to see that the project starts. It is the demand of our leader, Dr. Kalainar Karunanidhi, that the project should be immediately start functioning, and the Tamil Nadu should get power. At least 1,000 megawatt of power should be given to the state of Tamil Nadu where the project is situated.
Please.
Sir, another major issue, the Sri Lankan issue. Sir, the President's address until 2010 was talking about a political settlement in Sri Lanka. But last year and this year, that words were conveniently forgotten. It talks only about rehabilitation in Sri Lanka. Sir, what happened to the government's wish for a political settlement in the island? Why the government has withdrawn from that stand? When in 2010, the President had talked about a political settlement in the island. This year, why they have withdrawn? We don't know. There should be, and India should work for a political settlement in the island. So the progress in the state, we were told that 50,000 houses were to be built in the island for the internally displaced people. But I don't know whether at least 50 houses are built or not. They are still suffering, still languishing in the camps, open air camps. The government should help them. They should speed up the process. If we want to help them, somebody, we should help in time. Timely help is the need of the hour. When we are not helping them in time, what is the use? So the government should also consider that, sir. And Tamil Nadu recently suffered by the attack of a massive cyclone called T.K.S. The government of India has not helped the state with the requisite money. Thousands of families have lost their livelihood because they depend on trees like cashew and jackfruit. These trees, it will take time, at least 3 years or 4 years to grow, 10 years sometimes. So up to that time they have to suffer. They will have no other income. So the government should come forward to help the people affected by T.K.S. Oh, the government of India should fund whatever promised, also have not come so far. Yes. Sir, then the other issue is water, sir. The Kaveri Delta in Tamil Nadu is called as the granary of the south once. They say that it is a granary of the south. But it is drying because of the disputes between the neighboring states, interstate river disputes. The only way to overcome is that the linking of rivers, linking of all national rivers. So the Supreme Court itself has stated that river linking should be taken up immediately. There is no announcement in that regard by Her Excellency the President. So the government should also consider or immediately take action in the linking of rivers on priority and allocate sufficient funds for that in the ensuing budget, sir. With these words, I conclude. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Shri T.K.S. Elangovan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. While associating with the sentiments and anger of the honorable members here, I think that the crowd which had gathered there had made these people to speak like this. The jokers will act when the crowd is huge.
Very good.
They will act more when the crowd gathers more. So here I only wish to endorse the views of Honorable Mulayam Singh Ji that he should be called upon before the Privileges Committee, and the Privileges Committee should inquire into this matter and keep up the prestige of this House. With these words I conclude. Thank you, Madam.
Shri Navanageshwar Rao.
और ये जवाब साफ साफ दीजिए और आज दीजिए कि किन राज्यों ने
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to speak on this important subject. Madam, more and more state governments have started procuring food grains from the farmers to ensure that the farmers get MSP prices, because in the open market the procurement price is very less. But my question is that whether procurement is for storage or distribution. My view is that procurement should be for distribution. which means the distribution chain should be strengthened. When in the APL family, open market price of rice and wheat is more than 25 rupees, and the MSP is 11 rupees or 12 rupees per liter of kilo of rice, the FCI itself, I will suggest that the FCI itself can have a marketing division, open distribution chains, and sell rice at a reasonable price, a little more than the MSP, so that people will get rice at a cheaper price. So we have been demanding for a universal PDS in all states, like what is happening in Tamil Nadu. We suggest that universal PDS should be there in every state, and hereafter more and more states are going to procure more and more food grains. So instead of thinking of ways to store these food grains, we must think of ways to distribute them properly to the people, so that the people will get rice at a reasonable price.
Dr.
Thank you, madam.
Kakuli Das Ghosh. Thank you. Shri Elangovan.
Thank you, madam, for giving me this opportunity to speak on this great occasion. Madam, this house has seen many leaders, right from Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru until today's leaders. We had Mr. Murasali Maran, our great political thinker, who was a member from 1967, when the Honorable Leader of the House and Honorable L.K. Advani ji were also members of the Rajya Sabha. I too have a credit that my father T.K.S. was also a member in the Rajya Sabha, when our Honorable Leader of the Opposition was also a member of this House. This House has seen many occasions. Such is the power of the House that when Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister of this country, he had stated that an assurance given by a minister or a Prime Minister in this House is in itself a law. When DMK got elected only two members in the 542 House in the year 1957, the DMK demanded that Hindi should not be imposed on non-Hindi speaking states. At that time, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru gave an assurance that Hindi will not be imposed until the non-Hindi speaking states prefer. English will also continue as a linked language. When the DMK member sought a legislation in this regard, Nehru firmly stated that an assurance by the Prime Minister in this House is in itself a law. Nobody can deny that, or nobody can change that. That is the strength of this House. This House might have seen many ups and downs, many offensives, physical offensives, verbal offensives, and occasionally judicial offensives. But all these, this House has withstood with great strength. We have seen a strongly divided House. At the same time, we have also seen a solidly united House. That is the strength of this House. Many critics have made many comments on this House. But so far, the strength of this Parliament lies in the fact that so far no intellectual, no political visionary, whatever his capacity is, could not suggest an alternative for this Parliament. That is the strength of the Parliament. This will continue for years to come. We have a leader who is a member of the State Legislative Assembly since 1957 and still continues to be a member. When our great leaders like our Honorable Leader of the Opposition took office as a Member of Parliament here, he took office as the Chief Minister in Tamil Nadu, Dr. Karunanidhi. He is directing us. The DMK will do everything to keep up the prestige of this House. Finally, I want to tell one thing in a lighter sense, that we took oath of office when we got elected in this House. On the 60th anniversary celebrations, we must take another oath today. At least I will move this oath that to commemorate this 60th year, to uphold the prestige of this House, to see the level of proceedings, to increase the level of proceedings of this House, my oath will be that I will speak only before a switched on microphone and not before a switched off microphone. Thank you, madam.
Shri Elangovan.
Thank you, madam. Madam, the cartoons displayed in this house is all about the viewpoints of the media. Madam, these cartoons are published in the book called a book on political science. Political science is all about theories and philosophies. It is about democracy. It is about monarchy. It is about economic uplift, not the individual's performance or an offensive on the individuals. Media may have, some media may support the ruling party. Some media may support the opposition party. In my state, media are so spineless that they will not criticize the government, but they will criticize the DMK party which is in the opposition. That is the view of the media. These viewpoints of media is not political science. It is a criticism of day-to-day affairs. When a student is taught about a day-to-day affair and said that this is the political science, that is the mockery of the subject itself. So, somebody who had prepared this book has some bad intention in his mind, and with that intention he must have prepared this book. These cartoons are, I may like this cartoon. I may even call the cartoonist and appreciate him that you have done a nice cartoon. Even Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru did that. That is different. But that is not political science. A newspaper may write something bad about me. When I tell them that you have written bad about me, they will publish my rebuttal in the obituary column. The bad news about me will appear in the headlines, but my rebuttal will appear in the obituary column. That is the view of the newspaper. Cartoons are viewpoints of the newspapers. That is not political science. So this book should be immediately withdrawn, and those who prepared this book should be punished. Thank you, madam.
Submission, madam.
Shri T.K.S. Elangovan.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is an incident which is, I think, a shame for the people of the South. Because the South is known for its kind heart, is known for accepting the people from the North. The people from the North have always felt safe in the hands of the people of the South. There may be some differences in language, but that has never stopped the people from the North coming to the South and settling there. Now, when I see in the newspapers that there is an exodus of the Northeast people going back to their homeland, to Assam, to Meghalaya, from Chennai or from Bangalore, I feel sorry that we have failed. A small spark of fire has engulfed a big, huge area. It is an isolated incident, maybe because of the communication strength, has created fears in the minds of the people living in the entire southern states. This is, I am sorry, and all political leaders of the South should take this as a personal, I can say, to use this word, shame, that somebody who had come to our place, we must host them properly. They should not be afraid of us. This feeling should be created by the political leaders. I request the government of India to hold discussions with the state governments, all the 4 state governments in this regard, and see that the people from the Northeast still feel safe to live in the southern part of India. Thank you.
Shri T.K.S. Elangovan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to speak on the motion proposed by the Honorable Leader of the House. Madam, at the outset, the Leader of the House had stated that the stakeholders were not consulted. When she said that, she mentioned the chief ministers of the states and the political parties as stakeholders. The Honorable Minister, Mr. Kapil Sibal, had said that allowing FDI in retail, the farmers will get a fair deal, consumers will get a fair deal. But the actual stakeholders are the traders. I don't know whether this government had consulted the traders. You know, in our culture itself, traders are a class. Among the four classes of the Hindu community, as we say, traders themselves, Vaishyas, are a class. They were not consulted. Sir, this notification says that the above policy is an enabling policy only. By saying that it is an enabling policy is like calling, you know the story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. I will blow the pipe and go. Whoever comes with me can come and fall in the river. It is like that. So, this enabling policy will induce the state governments at one point or another to join the bandwagon. Sir, I am not telling this as your opponent. I am telling this as your brother. I know that the injury is in the hand. I have diagnosed that the injury is in the hands. I say that the hand should be treated. I don't want to put you for a whole body scan like what the opposition party says. As a brother, as a partner, I warn you that this will definitely is in the interest, it's not in the interest of the trading community. The employment in the trading community was stated as about 30 crores people. And most of them are not working in big shops. They have, individually they run their shops. This is the biggest source of self-employment. For a man with some self-respect, whatever money he has, he can invest in a small shop. He can run his family. He is not getting much out of it. He may not get much out of it, but at least he can lead a reasonable life. Sir, Honorable Minister, Mr. Kapil Sibal was defending from the side of the government. He said, by allowing FDI in retail business, farmers will get a fair deal. Consumers will get a fair deal. Which means, until now, they are not getting a fair deal and the traders are cheating both the sections of the people. Is it true? Then you must accept, you must join them. If you say that that statement is true, then you should support them.
Please address the chair. Elangovan-ji, please address the chair.
Sir, another issue is that at least 50% of total FDI brought in shall be invested in backhand infrastructure. Sir, for any company, for any trader who is going to invest here, they will build their own infrastructure. This is not a common facility. These facilities will not be used for a common purpose. This is for themselves, for their own use. If you put a condition that these infrastructure should be used for a common, would be considered as a common facility, then it is good. Further, infrastructure has included processing, manufacturing, distribution, design improvement, quality control, packaging, logistics, storage, warehouse, agricultural market produce. But cold storage is not included in it. It is part. So that should also be included. Secondly, sir, we can understand if fresh agricultural produce, including fruits and vegetables, are exempted, but you have also exempted grains. That is not in the interest of the common people. We want grains to be excluded from this. Only fresh poultry, fishery, fresh agriculture, including fruits, vegetables and flowers can be included from the unbranded category, for the unbranded category, not grains. Grains should be from the branded category. So my worry is that this will greatly affect a large chunk of traders who are having small petty shops. The history has shown, earlier there are reports that it has affected the small traders. Millions of people. And Honorable Minister had said that Walmart has failed in China. Walmart has failed here. People will not go to Walmart. Walmart has to be situated outside city. People has to go there. Then why Walmart here? When people are not going there, there is no space in the city with more than 10 lakh population. Then why Walmart? Only one point in which we have to stand by you, and we stand by you, is that from your statement, you have stated that it is the need of the hour to save the fiscal conditions of the state. So we don't want to let you down. Secondly, we don't want to join the opposition. We don't want to join the BJP. We are not neutral. We are against FDI in retail, multi-brand retail. We were the first party to oppose this by way of resolution, by incorporating in our manifesto. But still, we don't want to oppose you or vote against you because we know that the injury is in the hands and we don't want to put you for a whole body scan. So we have time. We are with you. We will watch you and we will correct you as and when needed, because we have to face the people. We have made many promises. We have together done many good things for the country. One or two things may be not in the interest of the people, for which we don't want to let you down. With these words, while registering my strong opposition to the FDI in multi-brand retail, I also support the government.
Shri T.K.S.
पुनर्वासित कराना चाहिए.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, for permitting me to speak on this important subject. Sir, I fully support the resolution moved by our Honorable friend Arjun Meghwal, that people who are living in this country for quite a number of years should be naturalized and made citizens of this country. Sir, as far as Pakistan is concerned, not all the people living in that area called Pakistan wanted separation. They might have liked to live as Indians. But it has happened. And the country has become not a secular country like ours. It has become an Islamic republic, a religious republic, which means the minorities may not have their full rights. The Hindus, the Jains, the Sikhs, the Buddhists, the Christians, they may not have a say on the affairs. So they might feel difficult to practice their own religion. They might feel difficult to have their own culture intact, and they want to come to India where they can have their own culture intact, they can practice their own religion. The question is whether all Hindus can be migrated to India. Maybe there are rules, strict rules in allowing migrants from various other countries, but those people who are here in this country living for about 30 to 40 years or 50 years in some places, they can be given citizenship. The migration is of two types, sir. One is the illegal migration, the other is refugees allowed by the country. The country knows that the country had accepted them as and given asylum. In Tamil Nadu, sir, The Sri Lankan Tamils have come to India as refugees and they are living in the country for more than or a little less than 30 years. Between 1983-84, they are not, I cannot call them as living. They are surviving. They are given a subsistence. Their children, who now would be about 20 years of age or 22 years of age, were not given proper education, no higher education. They live as refugees and they have their subsistence allowance by the government. They are made to live in the camps without any right, and the future generation has no good future. That is the condition of the refugees there. All I request is that the government should ask them if anybody wants to become a citizen of India, or they leave it to their choice. We did not make all of them as citizens. Let us leave it to their choice. Let us ask them as to whether they want to become citizen of this country. If they apply for citizenship, we can give. Sir, one more thing in this regard I would like to tell is that there is a protocol, UN protocol on refugees, which about 125 countries have already signed, but India is not a signatory to that protocol. I don't know why India is not a signatory to that protocol. India should also be a signatory to the protocol so that many of the issues can be resolved in a way which is acceptable to the world community. Oh. But we must do something proactive to see that such problems are settled at least. Sir, in the US or in the Western countries, they have a period of an immigrant after about 7 or 8 years can naturally become a citizen. But here, 30 years, they live as refugees, they live as illegal immigrants, but still they are not given citizenship. They find it difficult. It is not difficult for those people who had actually migrated to this country, but their wards, their children, they will suffer. They don't have a proper education. They may not have a proper employment in the future. So we must protect the innocent wards of those people who had immigrated to this country 30 years or 40 years back. So the government should look into all these things. With these words, I request the government to immediately look into the affairs of the immigrants, particularly the Sri Lankan Tamils who are living in Tamil Nadu. With these words, I fully endorse the views expressed by our honorable friend Arjun Megwal and other colleagues. Thank you, sir.
Shri Mehta.
Go for an independent exercise.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir,
life is over.
I thank you for having given me this opportunity
Please sit down. Thank you very much.
speak on the motion moved by Honorable Member P.C. Chacko and seconded by Dr. Girija Vyas on the address of the President of India to both the houses of the Parliament. Sir, this address has very good points. It has listed out the greener side of this country where agricultural growth is there. India is one of the first #1 milk producing country in the world. The food grains position during the last year was exemplary, and there are many moves by the government to increase food production. And there are various other issues which shows us a good sign for this country. But I can say that this address is more or less a report card of what had happened in the previous year. All the good things that have happened during the previous year was listed, but I doubt whether there is a clear roadmap on the future, which I think I have to go through it once again or twice, thrice. I have to read this address and find out. Anyhow, this address has given us various inputs on the government's efforts for an inclusive growth in the country. But for the past 4 years, there are certain issues which took place in His Excellency the President's address and which have not found a place in this year's address. The first thing is the reservation for women in the Parliament and state legislators. That has not found a place in this address. I don't know whether by the end of this 15th Lok Sabha, the bill will be passed or not. The government has to reply. So second, one issue is pending. See, we have been seeing that recently there were several death sentences which were promulgated and executed. Sir, about 104 countries in the world have done away with death sentence. Death sentence is not a sentence at all. The culprit, the criminal, the offender should feel that he had done a mistake. And a life imprisonment will make him feel that what mistake he had done and how cruelly he had behaved. So that sort of a thing only will correct a man. Death sentence is a minute's affair and that's all. He has no future and he has no chance to correct himself and live in this world. When 104 countries of this world have done away with death sentence, why not India? That question is lingering in the minds of people of India. So the President has not addressed about that. The third is the food security bill which the President had stated. Sir, without a universal public distribution system, there cannot be any food security in this country, sir. We have been insisting on that. When there is the growth of food grains is enormous, and the House has been discussing twice or thrice about how to store the food grains produced in this country. If there is an effective mechanism, distribution system, a powerful distribution system, and with a universal public distribution scheme, I think this problem can be solved, this problem can be addressed, and further, food grains will be available to everybody in this country at a lesser cost. Now the government is targeting only the BPL, not the rest of the people. In Tamil Nadu, we have a very successful public distribution system, which is, I think that is the only state. Tamil Nadu is the only state which is practicing universal public distribution system. So that should be practiced throughout the country. That should be the scheme for the whole country, wherein you can reduce the cost of food grains and thereby reducing the general cost of living in this country. We don't know what is going to come in the food security bill. It is yet to come to the discussion in this House. We will wait for that. Sir, next is the water problem. Honorable former Prime Minister and Honorable Member Devagowda was pleading for drinking water to Bangalore. Sir, this issue started in the year 1924. I don't want to go deep into it, but I can only say that the 1924 accord between the Madras Presidency and the Madras and the Mysore governments stated that there should not be any new dams built in Karnataka area. But 4 dams were built by the Karnataka government. Thereby, the area of agriculture is expanded, and as a result, the lower riparian rights of Tamil Nadu was denied. That is why this case, this tribunal, the Supreme Court intervention, all these things have come. It is a mistake of the Karnataka government when they did not follow the agreement of 1924 and did not went away with construction of many dams that had created this problem. We are not denying any water. See, water comes from Karnataka. It is for them to utilize the water for their drinking purpose or agriculture. Their agriculture, the fields area has increased 4-fold today. So what can we do? We cannot leave the rights of the lower riparian state. That is why we were fighting, and we are still fighting. We want a monitoring authority to see that this award, the award which was notified, is followed properly. Sir, I have to quote a Tirukural which is very important here, sir. Nahunar porutandru nattal, mihudikan mer chendru idithar poruttu, which means not to laugh is friendship made, but to hit when faults exceed. So we are friends. We are friends with the Congress. We are partners in the UPA. We are together. We have gone to the people together. We met the people together. We made promises to the people together. But the promises made by the Congress is fulfilled, and the promises made by the DMK is yet to be fulfilled. That is our worry, sir. Sir, we had two flags in our hand. One is the tricolor Congress flag. The other is the two-color DMK flag. Green, white and saffron Congress flag. Black and red DMK flag. Sir, this address has justified the green color of the Congress flag, that agricultural production has increased manifold, and we are one of the leading countries of production of food grains. White is justified. We are #1 in the milk producing country in this world. But saffron is also justified, sir. Rightly or wrongly, saffron is also justified, that you have not mentioned anything about the Sedu Samutram project in this address. The President has not mentioned anything about the Sedu Samutram project, which is pending, wherein about more than 1,000 crores of rupees were invested. The project was stalled because of saffron reasons. You have fallen into the trap of the saffron because you want to justify the saffron color in your flag. But the black and red, what happened? It is still there. You have not justified anything. The black and red, our people, the people of Sri Lanka, Tamils in Sri Lanka, are bleeding. Their future is bleak. Bleeding Sri Lankan Tamils with a bleak future. What are you going to do? What is this country going to do? What is this government is going to do? Sir, you have been seeing that many of the parties here. The other day also in the Rajya Sabha there was a discussion. Many of the parties here wanted the resolution moved by the US in the UNHRC should be supported by the government of India. Sir, I don't insist that, sir. It is a formality. If you vote or not, whether your vote is in favor of majority or minority, if majority members of the UNHRC votes in favor of the resolution will be passed. You will be left out. If you support the resolution, okay. It shows your intention that you are supporting human rights. But as a country which is a neighboring country to you, Sri Lanka, what is your role? It is not just giving a vote in favor of a resolution in the UNHRC. You have a huge responsibility of protecting human rights in your neighboring country. You cannot be a silent spectator. You cannot be a mute spectator when there is a huge, large genocide is happening in your neighboring country. His Excellency, sir, has stated in his address that India stands tall as a nation.
Please, don't. He is not yielding, please. Let him say. Nothing will go on record. Kuch jayega nahi.
Lot many Tamils have been killed by LTTE, sir. Lot many Tamilians, lakhs and lakhs of Tamilians.
Please sit down.
Killed by LTTE.
Please, he is not yielding. Please,
sir. He is wrong, sir.
Please.
I will tell you, I will come to that later. I am not going to reply to him, sir.
please,
Sir, the President had stated that
please, why?
I am not going to answer his
Mr.
question,
Singh.
sir, and I am not yielding.
Sir, Timur said.
Nothing will go on record.
That is his view, sir. You can record it in
Please,
his name.
please,
I don't
please.
mind. I am not going to reply to that.
Please.
India stands tall as a nation because we are seen as a liberal and plural democracy. These are the words which I find in the President's address. India stands tall as a nation because we are seen as a liberal and plural democracy. When is Sri Lanka going to stand as a nation because of their liberal and plural democracy? That is my question. When we are proud of our plurality, when we are proud of our liberty, when we are proud of our rights, we cannot be proud of the rights of the Tamils in the island, in our neighboring country. Why? There is another question, sir. The other day, when the Honorable External Affairs Minister said, India did not respect the sovereignty of the erstwhile Pakistan. He said, we cannot interfere with the sovereignty of any other country. But India did not respect the sovereignty of the erstwhile Pakistan. That is why Bangladesh is here. Otherwise, where Bangladesh? Without the interference of India, where is Bangladesh? So, we cannot say that we respect the sovereignty of other nations. Sir, one more thing. The war against Tamils did not start in the year 1983 or very recently, sir. That you should understand. It started in the year 1948, when the Sri Lankan Parliament passed a resolution called Sinhala only. Since then, since 1948 till 1983, the Tamils in the island were fighting without arms. Only in 1983 they started taking arms. They resorted to arms struggle with the government. My dear friend, my colleague from my state, Mr. J.M. Harun, had stated, he was talking about the killings before 2009. Sir, my question to the Congress, as a congressman, my question to the Congress is, Madam Indira Gandhi interfered in the affairs of the Sri Lanka for the sake of Tamils. Rajiv Gandhi, as Prime Minister of this country, interfered with the affairs of the Sri Lanka for the sake of Tamils. He was instrumental in the agreement between Rajiv Gandhi and Jayawardena. He was instrumental in the bilateral agreement between the two countries, and he was instrumental in taking the step that 13th Amendment should be there in Sri Lanka for the protection of Tamils. This was done by Rajiv Gandhi. My question to the Congress is, don't you want to take the legacy of Rajiv Gandhi further? Have you forgotten Rajiv Gandhi? Have you forgotten Indira Gandhi? Can't you take their legacy forward?
Please don't disturb him
Can't
now.
you see that?
Only one thing will go on record.
Can't you see that?
Honorable
Can't you see
member,
that their legacy should be carried forward?
please
Can't you
address to
see
the
that
chair. Please
it
don't.
should be there when the government says, when the government of Sri Lanka says that 13th Amendment will not be made, will not be adopted, will not be implemented, then where is Rajiv Gandhi's agreement with Jayawardena? What happened to Rajiv Gandhi's well-intentioned interference in the affairs of the Sri Lanka? It is with good intention he did. It is with good intention Madam Indira Gandhi intervened. They wanted to protect the Tamils. They wanted to protect a specific linguistic group in that island who were living for thousands of years in that island. Now what has happened? That area of Sri Lanka is being Sinhalized, militarized. The President of Sri Lanka makes many promises even to the government of India. Whenever he comes, he makes a lot of promises, tall promises. But he is not fulfilling or following any of his promises made by himself. That is the state. Sir, during the BJP period when Vajpayee was in power, we tested our strength in the atomic energy. All we did was to test an atomic bomb. What happened? The entire world imposed economic sanctions on India for merely testing our atomic bomb. The entire world, we are not in war with anybody. But a government, there is a government which is in war with their own citizens. Why can't we impose economic sanctions to that country? We have given 500 crores of rupees for the rehabilitation and resettlement of Tamils. We have also given 500 crores as grant to the government of Sri Lanka. Why this drama? What is the use of this drama? When the entire world is angry with what is happening in the island.
For the sake of Tamil people, they are providing money. It's not for the government.
They are giving 500 crores as
Please,
grant
please,
to the
please
government
don't
also.
disturb him.
You
Nothing
read
will go on
the,
record
you read the
except
budget
honorable
first.
member.
You read the budget and talk to me. So, 13th amendment was totally rejected. The amendment which was proposed by Rajiv Gandhi, the Congress people should feel about it. So these are the issues which the Honorable His Excellency, the President's address, have failed to address. These are the issues which the world is closely watching. These are the issues the Tamils are weeping. They are, this bloodshed, this red and the bleak black future of the Tamils in the island is the color of the DMK flag, sir. The DMK is now holding a flag single-handedly when the Congress, along whom we took both the flags together to go to the people and seek their votes, the Congress could take care of themselves and they have left the DMK in the lurch. With these words, I thank you, sir.
मैं श्री T.K.S. को बुला रही हूँ और उसके बाद नहीं वो जरा थोड़ी देर में वो स्टेटमेंट देंगे, तब तक हम इलंगोवन जी को बुला रहे हैं। इलंगोवन जी जी
Madam Speaker,
पहले उनको बुला रहे
thank you
हैं,
for the
उनका
opportunity
नोटिस
given to me to raise an important issue in this house.
एसोसिएट हाँ बुला देंगे, इनको बोल लेने दीजिए,
While
उनको बोल लेने
associating with the
दीजिए, हम उनका
sentiments,
नाम बुलाया, हम बुला देंगे, बैठ जाइए, हाँ
Madam, at the
बोल लेने
outset,
दीजिए उनको,
while
बैठिए ना,
associating with the sentiments
बैठ
expressed by
जाइए,
the
हाँ
leader of the
बोलिए
opposition,
लंगोवन जी बोलिए,
while
ठीक है बैठ जाइए, आप बैठ जाइए,
while
13 मिनट को।
associating with the sentiments expressed by the honorable leader of the opposition in the killing of 5 CRPF Jawans, the important issue which I raise here is about the Tamil fishermen who are arrested this morning. Yesterday about 20 fishermen from Rameswaram were arrested by the Sri Lankan Navy. Today this morning in Tangachi Mandapam, 8 boats were captured by the Sri Lankan Navy and about 50 fishermen who were in those boats were arrested. Madam, this has been happening as a daily affair. I am sorry to say that India is one of the biggest democracy in this part of the globe, but it is one of the weakest in protecting its own citizens. That was what has happened in Sri Lanka with regard to Rameswaram fishermen and also the CRPF men in Kashmir. Madam, there were many assurances given by the government that the fishermen will be protected. But so far, they were not protected. This has become a daily affair. No fishermen from the Rameswaram area could go to sea. Fishermen are not going to capture that country. They are after fish. Fishermen are after fish. They don't know where the maritime boundary is. My question is, our Coast Guard should take necessary steps to protect the fishermen from being arrested by the Sri Lankan Navy. I don't know what our Coast Guards are doing. This has become a daily affair. And I want the government, the minister to reply in this regard and give an assurance that no such incident occurs in the future. Thank you, Madam.
Thambidurai ji.
Next is Mr. T.K.S.
அவைத்தலைவர் அவர்களே வணக்கம். தமிழிலே பேசத்தான் ஆசை என்றாலும் மொழி மாற்றம் செய்யும் வசதி இல்லாத காரணத்தினால் ஆங்கிலத்திலே எனது உரையை தொடர்கிறேன். I am compelled to speak in English because I have not made arrangements for the interpreter. Sir, these UPSC examinations were going on smoothly during the last year and the earlier years. What is the necessity to change the system now? Who had authorized the UPSC to change the system in the midway? Sir, this is authoritarian act of the UPSC,
yes,
which we cannot accept. Then why is the government here? UPSC may be a constitutional body, but these things are related to people. English is not an official language. English is a linked language. We have all regional languages, and in my state, Tamil is the official language. Every state has their own official languages. English is neither an official language of the state or the nation. It is only a linked language. When the linked language can take such importance in the official duties of the country, what will happen to the regional languages? Sir, we have been demanding that all official languages of all the states should be made official language of this country. In these circumstances, if we allow English to take control of the UPSC and other examinations, then we have no other escape that we will be bound by the English, and as was our other leaders were telling, we will become once again a slave to the English. This was the wish of our leader, Dr. Kalangir M. Karunanidhi. He has been demanding that all regional languages should be made official languages of the country. So, UPSC should be immediately asked not to follow this new procedure, sir. With these words, it should go back, revert, and status quo should be maintained.
Thank you. Sri Basudeva.
Thank you for this opportunity.
It is already in the media.
All right.
Madam Speaker.
Why are you standing? Please sit down.
Madam Speaker.
Please sit down.
Tamil Nadu is burning. Students are on the streets. Every section of the society is on the streets. They were expecting a strong resolution.
On behalf of the ruling party or opposition party?
I am speaking on behalf of DMK. I am speaking on behalf of DMK.
Nothing else will go on record. Nothing else will go on record. No, let him speak. Let him speak.
Madam Speaker, I am speaking on behalf of DMK. Madam Speaker, this entire state is burning. The people are on the streets. The students have gone fastened to death. The US resolution, which was to be passed in the HRC, has failed to fulfill the aspirations of the Tamils in the island and in the mainland India. Sir, Madam, my question to the government is, the government of Sri Lanka, the President of Sri Lanka had given various promises to the government of India that includes demilitarization, democratization, and giving powers, de-escalation, and then powers to the regional groups. These assurances, whether the assurances given by the government of Sri Lanka to the government of India has not been carried out by the government of Sri Lanka. My question to the government of India is, what are you waiting for? What happened to the assurances given to the government of India by the government of Sri Lanka? Why the government of India is allowing human rights violation in the island? Why the government of India is allowing genocide in the island? We are not bothered about the resolution in the UNHRC. Yes. We said that the government of India has a moral and bounden duty when they have got certain assurances from the government of Sri Lanka It is the moral duty of the government of India to see that these assurances were fulfilled, or else to ask the government, to put pressure on the government of Sri Lanka that these assurances are kept up. Why India is a silent spectator? Why India is a silent spectator? When there was trouble in the year 89, when there was trouble in 1987, the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi intervened.
Thank you so much.
The Sri Lankan president. And,
All right. Thank you so much.
And signed an agreement with them
Yes.
to protect the Tamils in the
Okay.
island.
All
What
right.
is the government doing now?
All right. Thank you.
The
Thank you
government
so
has
much.
failed
Speaker
in its
Menon.
commitment.
1 minute. Honorable Minister, let him speak.